Hi everybody, in this video we are recapping our journey north through the Baja Peninsula back to the United States. In our recap video south, we had left off at an amazing beach boondocking location just outside of La Paz where we got to watch whales swim right outside our camper. It was amazing. Our next stop north was back to the town of Loreto where we had boondocked here on our way south and again on our way north at an amazing spot. Here we also took an incredible boat tour. We got to swim with sea lions where we were the only ones in the water with them. We then had the most magical moment of Baja. We rode through an entire pod of dolphins on a boat. It was incredible. They were all around us. You could see them swimming through the water. It was such a magical time. The tour took us to a national park where we got to have lunch on some beautiful white sand beaches. This tour was one of our favorites. The scenery was so beautiful. We got to see lava flows that happened many years ago out in the ocean. We made a full video on this one, and I will put a link to the video in the description.
Our next stop was probably one of my favorite places in Mexico. We stayed at the beach of Requeson. It's just so beautiful there. You walk out right from the camper, boom, there's the ocean. Vendors just come and bring you food. Some guy had a wheelbarrow full of candy. I love it there. It's probably one of my favorite places on the trip. Not only that, when we were out in the water in the kayak 2 different times, we kayaked all by ourselves out in the water with a pod of dolphins, and that was amazing. One of the most positive experiences of my life. It was a pretty calm day while we were out with the dolphins. You could actually hear them surface and breathe. The noise was incredible. They almost seemed like they wanted to play with us a little bit once they learned that we weren't a threatening creature to them. They would just jump all around us, and they really put on a show for us the second time. It was just magnificent. So after we left Requeson, we had one of the worst experiences of our trip. Pulled into the gas station in Mulegé to fill up for the journey to Guerrero Negro. Along the way there, somehow our propane line had fallen down again, didn't have it secured up enough. So this time it had been crimped pretty good, and I knew we were in trouble. Had to shut the propane off in the gas station, had to use our Jackery power all the way across to get to Guerrero Negro and keep the fridge cold. And luckily, we stayed at Mario's. They had electricity, which wasn't the plan. We were going to boondock. So then the next morning, I got to go and find a Mexican hardware store, trying to explain to a couple of Mexicans what I'm looking for. Luckily, they were super helpful. Had a kit that had a cutting tool and a flaring tool all in one. And I had to cut the propane line and put a new flare end on. Got it cut, flared, and it's still going back in business now. And also bought some brackets to secure it temporarily. So that was the unfortunate stop in Guerrero Negro. But on the bright side, we did find Tony's Tacos, which is a taco truck, which has the best fish tacos I've ever had in my life.
Our next stop north was to La Gringa. This is in Bahia de Los Angeles. I was super excited to try this place. We have never been to this area at all, and I've always seen super cool like sea life that people are always posting about. So I was super excited to go there. The La Gringa is a beach that is free boondocking, and it is super rough to get out there. I probably wouldn't have taken my trailer had I have known, but once we got out there, it was fine. We had a beautiful spot right on the water. Unfortunately, it was pretty windy here. We didn't actually get to do anything because it was so windy. So we only camped here for a few nights. Next time we go back to Baja, I will add this back to my list, and hopefully we can get out in the water and see some of that cool wildlife. Our next stop north in Baja was to a super awesome spot on the highway Mex 12. We learned about this spot from some friends that we actually had met in Michigan's UP last year and then randomly saw them again in Baja. They told us about this spot. They invited us to come along with them. It was out in the desert and it was amazing. It was my most favorite spot in Baja. We had some difficulty getting in because it was really tight amongst like cactuses and trees and stuff, and we didn't make ourselves look very good backing in, but we made it. They love to go off-road exploring and invited us to join them in their Bronco to find a canyon. We drove through giant cactus and it was such an amazing ride. My most favorite part of this spot were the boojum trees. This part of Mexico is the only place in the world where you can find these Dr. Seuss looking trees. They were so funky and I just love them so much, and I was beyond excited to be camping with them. We had a night there all to ourselves. The scenery here was so beautiful. There were rocks and all the cactuses were blooming. It was so beautiful and peaceful. I would love, love, love to go back here.
Oh, someone got me.
Our last night in Baja was to a winery in the town of San Felipe. We had heard great things about the pizza there, and we were super excited to try it, and you can boondock there for free. So we went there, and lo and behold, the pizza guy was sick. So we ended up spending like $80 there, dollars. How did we end up doing this in Baja? I have no idea. We just kept ordering food, and it was delicious there, but our free boondocking spot was maybe not as free as we would have liked. It was still a cool place to boondock, and we may or may not stay there again.
Our last stop in Mexico before we crossed the border was in Puerto Penasco. The drive from San Felipe to Puerto Penasco is beautiful. Once you get into Baja, or out of Baja, sorry. We also found a burrito stand on the side of the road. Got some delicious burritos. We were so hungry. Of course, we have a camper behind us we could pull over and stop and cook, but we just wanted to enjoy some more Mexican food. So then we got to the Reef RV Park, stayed there for a couple of nights, and we also went to El Pinacate. We went to the sand dunes this time because it was highly recommended that we do not go to the craters. There's some cartel activity in the area, and they're actually finding murdered people there. It's really the first time in all of our time in Mexico that there's been something mentioned about safety and where something was closed and impacted us. It's pretty disappointing. We're excited to go. However, safety is more important than our enjoyment. But while we were at the sand dunes of El Pinacate, one of the most frightening experiences of my life. We're on the trail, had a rattlesnake rattle at us. Out of all of our time while we've been in rattlesnake country, never seen one out on the trail, and just scared the crap out of both of us. We both jumped so far. I'm sure people that are used to rattlesnakes and see them that live in those areas, it's no big deal. But us Michiganders, that's a huge deal seeing a rattlesnake on the trail. So this is our second time in Mexico. We learned a lot. Still not experts by any means, but definitely feel much more comfortable. Boondocked in places by ourselves that I never would have done last year. It's pretty amazing. Mexico's got some amazing beauty that you can enjoy by yourself if you get away from the crowds a little bit and you want to put yourself out on that little bit of a limb. You can really enjoy yourself and have a wonderful time. We both managed to get sick in the same place that I got sick last year. The truck broke down last year. Mexico has its struggles, but we absolutely love our time there and would go back anytime in a heartbeat. I really want to go back next year, but I'm being outvoted, I believe, and there is a different destination coming for winter. So I'm still trying hard, see if I can change Nicole's mind and get us back to Mexico. We'll see what happens. But at the very least, I know we're going to an all-inclusive for 10 days in the Mexican mainland. I'm super excited about that. First time we've ever been to that area of Mexico. I'm excited to see how beautiful that is too.